Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight to hear about and comment on the 30% design concept for the interior restoration of Liberty State Park. My name is Olivia Glenn, and I am the Deputy Commissioner for Environmental Justice and Equity at New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. While I have only been in this position for just over 2 months, I was previously the Director of the Division of Parks and Forestry. Throughout my career, I have been an advocate for urban quality of life, environmental justice, and an urban park planner.
I believe that parks are woven into the tapestry of our communities, and I want more than anything for every New Jersey resident to have many places and opportunities to access green spaces. And Liberty State Park in Jersey City is no exception. Liberty State Park and Jersey City have long shaped defining moments for our state and our nation. Liberty State Park itself was New Jersey's gift to the nation at the bicentennial in 1976. And it's been well known as the nation's golden door and is one of America's most diverse and innovative cities. With diversity and innovation, it engenders many ideas and schools of thought. As platforms of democracy, like Liberty State Park, we can create a place that serves us all. Coupled with Liberty State Park's landmark significance is the overall defining moment in time in which we live right now. We are at the confluence of a public health emergency, social challenges, illuminated disparities, and at a point where we realize that even with all of our differences, our lives and our futures are interdependent upon one another, and we are stronger when we unite. I am hopeful that as we obtain your feedback on the proposed 30% design concept for the interior of Liberty State Park, we set the terms for a new way forward in this defining moment.
During the planning process for this project, we have met with local legislators, including the Jersey City Mayor's Office, the City of Jersey City's City Council, county commissioners, legislative district officials, the Friends of Liberty State Park, the local and state chapters of the NAACP, and representatives from Liberty State Park for All. And they have voiced concerns about the park and its future, such as the need for more places for active recreation, to ensure the contamination in the open areas of the park are cleaned up, that there are more access points, and most of all, that every park visitor has a voice in this planning process. Gathering your feedback locally continues tonight. During tonight's public comment period, you can submit questions if you are connected to a computer, tablet, or smartphone. These questions will be collected throughout the presentation, grouped by topic, and answered at the end of the presentation. In order to make a comment, you must have a working microphone on your computer, tablet, or smartphone. When you hear your name, please raise your hand to indicate you're present in the meeting and ready to speak. If you do not raise your hand in a short amount of time, we will call on the next person. Tonight, we will make sure to record your comments. We ask that your comment be no longer than 2 minutes, just so others have the opportunity to share their thoughts and comments too. But tonight is not your only opportunity to give feedback. We will also be providing a link to a survey where you can submit additional comments and answer questions about how you use the park. We will also provide an email address to submit comments if you do not feel comfortable taking a survey. In the survey, you will have an opportunity to sign up for additional online breakout sessions on specific topics on Liberty State Park. These breakout sessions will take place in the coming weeks. Breakout session topics will include contamination cleanup, active recreation opportunities, and other topics identified by your comments and questions this evening. So it's time to get started.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rob Rodriguez, and I'm the Superintendent of Liberty State Park. I am very excited for this public meeting and to be part of the team that presents it to you. As many of you know, the interior project has been a long time coming, about 25 years, and once completed will be such an incredible addition to the park and will provide improved public access, recreational enhancements, and a restored natural ecosystem. As someone who grew up in Jersey City, in a very densely populated community, and who had limited options to get outdoors, I recognize the need for more outdoor recreational outlets that engage youth and families in our community. I know Liberty State Park can have a role in addressing some of the need, especially as we continue to work with community leaders and officials in Jersey City, Hudson County, and the state. We would like to hear your ideas for new and different programs, events, facilities, recreational opportunities, both passive and active, access issues, other improvements, and anything else you would like to see in your park that supports the public's use of outdoor recreation and conservation. Your comments and questions will allow the DEP to advance the design of the interior, as well as allow for us to begin the planning process on what other improvements, such as active recreation or programmatic enhancements and other things that we can achieve throughout the entire park. I want to take a moment and highlight some of our current park offerings and update you on a few recently completed projects in the park. Liberty State Park is 1,200 acres in total, with 600 acres of land and 600 acres of open water. The interior area comprises 234 acres of the 600 acres of land. Due to the historic contamination, it is closed to the public. We are here today to talk about the potential of what could be on these 234 acres. Such a proposed concept provides remediation of contamination, restoration of natural resources that were historically present, safer access from surrounding communities on a trail network, and opportunities to provide active recreation. On the remaining nearly 365 acres, some of Liberty State Park's offerings include picnic areas, event spaces, access to the ferry service to the Statue of Liberty in Ellis Island, and the educational arts team that operates Camp Liberty. The park has facilities such as the Central Railroad Terminal Complex and Nature Center. Between 2017 and 19, we had impact on 3,500 school-aged children statewide, of which 1,800 were from Jersey City. Some of our programs are listed on the screen here. The restoration of the interior will allow us to expand our education programs to more people. Some of our recently completed improvements include approximately $25 million in Sandy recovery, expansion and improvements of parking lot 1 along Morris Pessin Drive. This parking lot provides overflow parking when the other lots reach capacity on the south side of the park. A couple of years ago, we were able to replace all the playground and fitness equipment at a cost of about $1 million. We have 2 playgrounds, a small one next to US Flag Plaza on the south side of the park, and a very large playground in the center of the park along Freedom Way. The Nature Center, which suffered flood damage from Superstorm Sandy, has been completely remodeled, and once we are given the green light to open all state park nature centers due to the COVID public health emergency, this Nature Center will reopen to the public as well. Again, we want to hear about your views on the interior, but also on areas outside of the interior. With all of this considered, there are 3 locations we suggest prioritizing for consideration of active recreation. First, within the interior itself, we may be able to locate active recreation in this general location along Phillips Drive. A second possibility on the south side, outside of the interior, is to locate recreation facilities within parking lot 1 along Morris Pessin Drive at the entrance of the park. Finally, we have an opportunity outside of the interior in the northwest section of the park along Johnston and Jersey Avenues. This area is close to the Bergen Lafayette, Liberty Harbor, and Van Voorst communities, as well as steps away from the light rail station. Since these locations are near the park entrances and closest to the surrounding communities, we thought these locations would be nice tie-ins and easy access for the local community. We look forward to your feedback on that. Up next will be the presentation of the 30% design of the interior restoration.
My name is Stacy McEwen, and I'm one of several people working on this project from the Office of Natural Resource Restoration here at the DEP. I want to acknowledge our whole design team consisting of engineers, environmental scientists, and special area experts from Princeton Hydro and HDR, as well as the Army Corps of Engineers. When the interior of Liberty State Park opens, it will nearly double the areas open for visitors. In order to improve access and make the park more convenient to local visitors, we propose to build entrances at Phillips Street and Thomas McGovern Drive, near Liberty Science Center, and at Audrey Zapp Drive and Phillips Street. We propose additional entrances along Freedom Way to connect to the existing improved areas along the waterfront. We suggest 2 additional parking areas at Phillips and McGovern and at Freedom Way and McGovern near the Interpretive Center. Parking at the park regularly fills up, so we thought this proposal could improve access to visitors who choose to drive or who are not within walking or biking distance. The design concept also includes nearly 7 miles of trails and sidewalks for walking, jogging, and biking. These proposed trails would provide a safe corridor for the surrounding communities, such as Bergen Lafayette, to access the park. We know that many people in the surrounding community may walk a mile up Johnston Ave to Audrey Zapp Drive with strollers and with their families. We want to change that, and we look forward to feedback from local residents to ensure these proposed enhancements make sense. For these entrance areas, we envision landscaped and manicured areas that will include places to sit, signs directing you to nearby sites, and racks for bicycles. This is an example that shows one option for the statue entrance on Freedom Way. In this example, the path and plaza are aligned to provide views of the Statue of Liberty. If you and your family need additional amenities at the entrance areas, please let us know in your comments in the survey. Moving away from the entrances, the proposed paths will run through the various habitats, which are represented by different colors here. We wanted to suggest creating habitats that were once prevalent here in Jersey City, but are currently absent from the site. Overall, we are proposing about 50 acres of salt marsh or tidal wetlands, 27 acres of freshwater non-tidal wetlands, and 133 acres of upland habitat and active recreation. The remaining 25 or so acres is for parking and trails. Starting in the northeast corner, we propose excavating a channel from the North Cove to bring in the tide and create a 50-acre tidal marsh habitat. This tidal marsh will help fight climate change by sequestering carbon by laying down peat each growing season. It will also protect against storm surge. Around the area, we propose several overlooks that can show this feature at work for the benefit of the community. This is an example of what we have in mind for this area. It will include landscaping and seating areas and provide space away from the busy paths to relax and enjoy the scenery and view the wildlife foraging in the marsh. Next, we propose creating a non-tidal wetland. In addition to providing many of the services of the tidal wetlands, non-tidal wetlands decrease stormwater runoff and act as a filter to enhance water quality. We also propose several overlooks here. There are different types of overlooks we can consider. One type we thought would be worth showcasing is this bird blind structure, which is designed to extend out into the wetland and provide visitors with a unique opportunity to view wildlife up close without disturbing it. This offers some educational opportunities as well as a great spot for bird watching and photography. The majority of the site is proposed to be a variety of upland communities. In following our proposed concept, there's a choice to be made here about how much active recreation, meadows, and urban forests could go here. The diversity proposed in these uplands will provide different experiences for park visitors, from fields for active recreation, quiet shaded forested areas, sunny wildflower meadows, and open grasslands. The uplands are proposed to feature 3 elevated plateaus to take advantage of views around the park. These will all have an ADA accessible path to the top, seating along the edge, and will feature different scenic views. This rendering gives you a sense of the design of the tallest of the 3 proposed hills, which will be oriented to have a view of the Jersey City and New York skylines. The hills will also be lawn areas at the top, so it will be a place people can gather. Kids could run around, kick around a ball, or you could put down a blanket and have a picnic with this gorgeous backdrop. Hiking trails will also be created throughout the upland habitats to provide some areas for peaceful enjoyment away from the main paths and sidewalks. As proposed, these trails would be easily accessible from the parking lot near the Interpretive Center, so they will provide additional educational and programming spaces for the park. Here is a summary of the key public enhancements we are considering.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for tuning in tonight. So tonight I'd like to address the overall environmental benefits of this work and touch upon some of the contaminant issues and how we propose to remedy them. We know that many years ago, the area of Liberty State Park was once flowed by the tides. It used to be mudflats and salt marsh. That all began to change in the 1800s when those wetlands and mudflats were filled to create a rail yard. All kinds of materials were brought in as fill: excavated dirt, coal ash, and clinker, and construction rubble. The site is very similar to other areas in the state that were reclaimed from the tides. It was a railroad operation, so it was sloppy. There were no doubt spills of fuel and other hazardous materials. So knowing this history, DEP has sampled the site and found contamination throughout, which of course is to be expected. This contamination occurs at various concentrations, some above standard, some below. The proposed remedy, a 1-foot clean fill cap, is protective. It's consistent with DEP's regulations and similar to remedies in other public areas throughout the state. In fact, the green portion of Liberty State Park is capped with 1 foot of clean fill, which has been in place for over 20 years. As we know, that portion of the park sees millions of visitors each year, hosts concerts in the rain with trucks, heavy equipment, and rutted soils, endures several nor'easters each year, and of course experience Superstorm Sandy. Through all that, the cap is held. Proposed construction entails a lot of earth moving. We'll need to excavate about 70 acres to create wetlands and pile up soils to make hills. When this recontouring is complete, we'll cap with clean fill, plant the area with different kinds of vegetation, and of course, after that, have Rob's staff monitor and maintain the cap and associated vegetation to ensure that it remains protective. This is a standard remedy applied throughout the state. It applies no matter the zip code. You can visit our website at nj.gov/DEP/SRP/guidance/RS to learn more about DEP's remedial standards and other supportive documentation. We'll address your questions tonight, but please know we'll have separate breakout sessions in a few weeks where we can take more specific feedback. We look forward to hearing more as we continue to work together. The proposed design timeline will have breakout topical sessions later this fall. We will incorporate that feedback and hope to have a 60% design to present in late winter, early spring next year. We anticipate a 100% complete design by next summer and hope to begin construction before the end of next year.
I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight for this very important and long-awaited conversation. My name is Ray Bukowski. I'm the Assistant Commissioner of National Historic Resources for DEP. I'm part of the team that has been engaged with the community leaders already and will continue to be. The department and the State Park Service must be inclusive, and each park is and will function as part of the local community. It is really important for us as stewards of the park property to consider how the park fits into the community's opportunities for recreation, outdoor access, health, and a myriad of other benefits. Our commitment is in perpetuity. All of the programs in the National Historic Resources Group at DEP will continue to be engaged in the interior, in Liberty State Park as a whole, in the city, in the county of Hudson, and with our nonprofit partners. Through Green Acres, municipalities and counties like the City of Jersey City, the County of Hudson, and nonprofit organizations can acquire additional lands for open space, as well as apply for funding to make improvements to local, county, and nonprofit-owned lands. Those funds can be used for improvements such as new playgrounds, ball fields, basketball courts, and much more. In our recent conversations with local, county, and legislative district officials, we have expressed our ongoing commitment to work with these units of government on new active and passive recreational opportunities around Liberty State Park. Everyone needs to have a place, whether you're a ball player, an artist, musician, hiker, biker, walker. Everyone needs to have the opportunity to be included within our state parks. Please note the links on the screen. One is for a survey that was referenced by Superintendent Rodriguez, and the other a dedicated email address to submit interior restoration comments and questions. Please do not feel rushed to write these down. This presentation and the links will be available on the DEP website. On behalf of DEP Commissioner Catherine McCabe and the entire DEP staff, I want to thank you for your time and most importantly for your interest and passion.